Hello, everyone. I wanted to jump on here today to talk about Social Security overpayments and how that has become such a growing problem. I have done a lot of videos about it, but I still think and been getting a lot of questions from you guys. So I wanted to hop on here and just do a live to answer any questions you may have or also get some clarity to you on what is happening with Social Security overpayments, why that is such a growing problem. The New York Times did a big story about it. CBS 60 Minutes also did a story. So it is something that is becoming a big concern. And over 1 million people are affected by this problem. Sometimes people don't even know that they owe Social Security money until it hits them, and then it becomes a big problem. So, what I want to do today is a couple of things. Number one, I want to talk about why this is happening, who it's happening to, who is affected. And the biggest question we get is, how is it that people owe all this money over such a long period of time without knowing it? So I'm going to explain the situations that cause people to owe overpayments with Social Security Administration. I am going to talk about what you can do if you get hit with an overpayment letter, what you can do about it. There are three options available to you on how to deal with it. So I'm going to walk you through that. And then finally, I am going to help you figure out how to check whether you owe Social Security money. So stay till the end of this live, and I will tell you exactly how you can check Social Security to make sure that you don't owe them money. And if you do, what you can do about it immediately. So let's jump right into it. So, what is Social Security overpayment? Well, overpayments happen when Social Security has paid you more money than you deserve. And this happens in many ways. And I'm going to explain probably three or four use cases that explain how people get into this situation. The first one is Social Security retirement benefits. So typically, what happens is that you've paid into the Social Security system, you've gotten your 40 credits over 35 years and of working. That is what Social Security counts towards your retirement. But to get the 40 credits, you have to have worked over a certain period of time and earn the quarterly credits. So you've paid into the system, you are eligible for benefits, you apply for Social Security benefits, and then you start receiving your check. And unbeknownst to you, Social Security has been paying you more money than you actually were eligible for. And this actually happens. The 60-minute story that came out, one of the people that were featured, she had been collecting Social Security for 6 years, no, 6 years ago. And 4 years into it, she got a letter for $72,000 that she owed Social Security. And how did this happen? Is because Social Security finally caught on to their own mistake that they've been paying her more money than she actually deserved and now want to claw it back. So the first way or the first example of people getting into overpayment situation is when you start receiving your Social Security benefits and they are paying you more money than you deserve. And typically it happens because they made a mistake in calculating the benefits that you are eligible for. So that's one way. The second way that people get into Social Security overpayment is when disability benefits has been paid to you as a child. So typically when you are, when children get on disability benefits, payments are made to their parents. And if Social Security determines years later, sometimes when you are an adult, that they paid your parents more money than you should have received in disability benefits, they will send you a bill for you, the adult, to pay it. And I'm not making this up. There's 60 Minutes story. There was a story of a guy called Roy Farmer who was in a similar situation where when he was a child, he was diagnosed with cerebral palsy and got on disability benefits. So his mom was receiving the benefits on his behalf. And at age 11, they determined that he was no longer disabled. So they stopped paying him disability benefits, which they can do. because when you're on disability benefits, Social Security will evaluate your case every now and then to make sure that you're still disabled according to their definition of disability. Well, they stopped his benefit at age 11, which is fine, but now he's in his 20s, and then they sent him a letter that he owes $4,920. How? Because Social Security made a realization or a determination that while he was 11, they paid his mom more money than they should have paid him. So now that he's an adult and working, they have determined that he can pay the money back. So they want their money back. So yes, that's how they did. And the New York Times story also had the same story with somebody that when they were a child, their parents received disability benefits on their behalf, and then now that they're adults, they got a bill that they owe $17,000. So that is one way that. So that's number two. Number three is when you are on Social Security retirement benefits and you are receiving benefits before your full retirement age. For some of you, that is 66 and change. For some of you, that's 67. And so if you start receiving benefits as soon as you're eligible, say at 62 or 63, and you also continue to work, then you may be in a situation where you must report. Basically, when you're on Social Security benefits and you're working before your full retirement age, you have to report your earnings to Social Security. And if they don't get those earnings or they calculate your benefits wrong, then chances are years down the line they're going to send you a bill that you owe money because they would have paid you more money than you were eligible for at the time. And then the fourth and probably the most common way that people get into overpayment is Social Security disability benefits, whether you're on SSI or SSDI. When you're working while on Social Security disability, whether you're on Ticket to Work or Trial to Work programs, people typically forget that or do not know that they're supposed to report their earnings to Social Security. And a lot of people that get on Social Security overpayment situations is that they forget or are not diligent in reporting those disability earnings to Social Security. So they're getting disability, they're working part time, and they're not reporting their earnings. So the 60-minute story that was featured, one of the guys, that's what happened. He said he was reporting the earnings diligently, but Social Security was not adjusting his earnings, and then he ended up with a $51,000 bill that he had 30 days to pay back. So those are kind of the four ways that overpayments happen. Now, this is a growing problem. There's $23 billion that Social Security is owed in overpayments that they're trying to claw back. Each year, they've been more aggressive, and especially in 2024, over 1 million people are going to be getting letters about overpayment. So what I wanted to do with this video is explain to you what you need to do if you get one of these letters. And it's also good to be aware how this happens so that you can check for yourself. So stay till the end of this live. I will tell you exactly how to figure out whether you owe Social Security money or not, so that you don't get hit by a large bill and then you have 30 days to pay it back. So how do you deal with this? Typically, here's what happens. You'll be there and then you'll get a letter from the Social Security Administration telling you that they've been paying you more money than you deserve and now they want the money back. And I have seen reports where people are asked to pay tens of thousands of dollars back. 51,000, 70,000. Somebody got $120,000 to have to pay back in 30 days. And if you don't pay it back, here's what can happen. There are consequences that the Social Security Administration has several tools to get the money back. They can stop your benefits immediately and use your benefit payments to pay back what you owe. They can take a portion of your benefit, especially with SSI beneficiaries. They will take a portion of your benefits and put it towards the money that you owe until it's paid off. Or they can intercept any tax returns that you're going to get and use that to pay back the money, or they can garnish your wages. If you're on Social Security or disability and you're working, they can take your wages. So there are several tools available to them. They send you the letter and they'll tell you you have 30 days to pay it back. But there are tools and rights. You have rights on this in this situation, and there are things that you can do. So I'm going to give you the three things that you can do to fight Social Security overpayments. The first thing, obviously, is to pay the money back. If you have the money, you pay it back. But I have I have yet to see or hear of anybody that has been hit with an overpayment letter that has the money sitting down to pay it. And why is that? Because one, a lot of people receiving Social Security are on fixed income. 40% of seniors' Social Security benefits is their only source of income. So when you send somebody a letter for $72,000 to pay in 30 days, chances are they don't have it. And then you talk about disability beneficiaries who are also on fixed income. And here's the thing about disability beneficiaries: they cannot have more than $2,000 in their bank account or they will lose their disability benefits. So the fact that the Social Security Administration is sending these people letters asking them to pay all this money back when they know very well that some of these people are on fixed income and Social Security or disability benefits are their only source of income, it makes it a little bit disingenuous. So, what can you do? Number one, you can pay it back if you have the money. Number two, if you don't have the money, then your first option is to appeal. And the appeal process is, it's important because Social Security makes mistakes. And so do not take the letter that is sent you at face value and just believe it and just pay it. Make sure that you understand for yourself how you got in this situation. So call Social Security Administration and find out, or visit a local office and find out, how do I owe this money? When are you saying this money, this overpayment started? And how long have you been paying me overpayments? And under what basis are you coming to me to collect this money? And let them explain it to you. And then you do your own research and then put a case together and then file the appeal with the Social Security Administration. Now, when you get the overpayment letter, it's going to tell you that you have 60 days to file your appeal. But here's the thing: you should file it in 30 days if you want to stop every collection activity that the Social Security Administration might initiate. Because after 30 days, if they send you an overpayment letter and you don't pay the money, they can start collection activities, which include stopping your Social Security benefits or disability benefits, taking a portion of your benefits to pay it back, garnishing your wages if you are working and on Social Security or disability, or intercept your tax returns from the IRS. So it's important that you file your appeal within 30 days so that by law, they have to make a decision on your appeal before they can start any collection activities if they received your appeal within 30 days. So that's important. If you wait till 60 days, as the letter says, they may start collecting after 30 days, and then you find yourself in a situation where you've lost your benefits or you've lost a portion of it because the Social Security Administration did not get their money back in 30 days. So that's important. So that's appeal is number one. Number two, you can file a waiver. So, what is a waiver? A waiver is essentially telling the Social Security Administration that you cannot make the payment. That for some reason, financial reasons, if they take all of your Social Security benefits or some of it, it's going to cause you severe financial issues. And so you are asking them to forgive the debt. That's what a waiver is. And you have to present information. They will request information from you about your current financial position, your income, how much money you're getting in, your expenses. You have to list them all so that they can make an assessment of whether they think you can pay the money or not. So that is a very important step. So the waiver is not just a blanket thing. You have to prove that you cannot, based on the resources that you have, the money you're making, and how much you're spending and what you're spending it on, you cannot make the payment. So that's very important. And if your appeal is denied, when you file an appeal, there are three things that can happen. They can agree with you and say, yes, we messed up. You're right. We got it wrong. Everything is forgiven. This is gone and you're free to go. Or they may request additional information from you, which you need to be diligent in providing to them. And then number three, they may deny your appeal. So if your appeal is denied, then obviously you can file for a waiver. If your waiver is also denied, then you have one more thing you can do to be able to fight this, which is going before a Social Security administrative judge and requesting a hearing. This is a legal proceeding, so you want to make sure that you hire an attorney that is well versed in Social Security overpayments, somebody that has dealt with people on Social Security overpayments and been able to present a case before a Social Security administrative judge. And that is one way for you to be able to deal with this in such a way that gives you a one final chance to be able to get this off your back. Now, overpayments have caused a lot of people stress because here's the thing. As I mentioned, not a lot of people have 30, 40, 50, 72,000, 100,000 sitting around to pay in 30 days. And the Social Security Administration is going to pursue you until they get their money back. And so it can cause a lot of stress and anxiety. One of the 60-minute story that was done, the first couple that were featured, they had $60,000 in savings, their life savings that they were going to, spend in retirement. They're in their 60s. And the pressure from the Social Security Administration was so great that they were ready to give the money, all the $60,000 to the Social Security Administration to get rid of the debt that they owe. So it can cause a lot of pressure on people. So it's important to know your options, file an appeal, file for a waiver, go before a judge if necessary. If you think you have a strong case, go before a judge to do that. But it's important, do not ignore it. Now, a lot of people have been wondering, why is it that the Social Security Administration can do this? Why can they wait for years and then come to, send letters to people and demand thousands and thousands of dollars back in overpayments? Well, there are a couple of reasons. Number one, the Social Security Administration is required by law to claw back money that it had paid people more than they're eligible for. So the law allows it. Now, the question is, why do they take so long to then pursue people for it? Well, there's several reasons for that. A part of it is that the Social Security Administration itself is making mistakes. But when they make mistakes, it's still your responsibility to catch it and report it, because if you don't catch it and it goes on for years and they find out that they've made a mistake in calculating your benefits, they're still going to come after you and get the money. That's what happened in the first one of the stories that CBS 60 Minutes featured. This lady got on Social Security benefits like everybody else, was getting her check like everybody else. Unbeknownst to her, she's been paid 72,000 more than she deserved, and they went after her after 4 years. They cut off her benefits. She hasn't gotten a dime in Social Security benefits in 2 years, and they're using her benefits to pay back what she was overpaid, even though it wasn't her fault. So one of the reasons is that they make mistakes. The Social Security Administration miscalculates, and it's still your fault to stay on top of it. Number three is that a lot of people get into this situation when they are working and are reporting earnings to the Social Security, or are not, or were negligent in reporting earnings to the Social Security Administration while they were on benefits as required, especially if you're receiving benefits under your full retirement age, or you're on disability benefits and you're on trial to work or ticket to work or whatever program you're on. So that goes on for a while. And even if you're on Social Security, disability, or retirement benefits and you're required to report your earnings, and they are not making adjustments on your check as a result of your earnings record, it is your responsibility to reach out to them and say, hey, I'm reporting the earnings to you. I'm not seeing a change in my check, even though I should. I think something is going on here. You need to check. Because if they are not changing, or if you're not making changes to your check and you're receiving the same amount of money and you stay silent, years later, when they find out that they've paid you more money than you should have received, they're going to come after you. So it's important that you also stay proactive. And then another way that this happens, how people get involved in overpayments, is that things happen in your childhood when you were in disability, that your parents got money to take care of you as a disabled child, and Social Security, for whatever reason, now realizes that they paid your parents more money than you deserve. And so they come after you as an adult. But I think the biggest reason why this happens is that people do not understand their obligation or responsibility under Social Security. So they are getting money and they don't know that they were supposed to be reporting changes, especially when you're in disability benefits. If you have more assets than you should have, let's say that you win the lottery, or you get an inheritance, or you were working and you're getting more money than you should have received. There's so many things that can happen with your resources, and there's a resource limit when you're on disability benefits. So if you go over that resource limit and you don't inform the Social Security Administration, or they find out later, years down the road, if they find out, they're still going to come after you and get their money back. So that is how it happens. Now, there is no statute of limitation. So they can come and get their money from you. It doesn't matter how long they find out. It could be 10 years from now, and they're still going to send you the bill and get their money. So, what can you do to find out whether you owe Social Security or not? Well, the best way is to log in online. Log into your Social Security account. If you have not created a My Social Security account, this is your opportunity to do so, because it is the fastest way to find out if you owe Social Security money or not. And it's a good habit to check your My Social Security account regularly, at least once every 6 months, just to make sure that everything looks good. Even if when you're on retirement or disability benefits, it's a good practice. Why? Because one of the stories that the New York Times featured, that is how the lady found out that she owes $70,000. She's not receiving disability benefits or Social Security retirement. She's too young to receive retirement benefits. She just got married and she decided to just log into Social Security and see whether they're tracking her earnings correctly and all that. And then, boom, she found out that there's a $17,000 bill that is waiting for her. And that is when all that activity started. She didn't know. She would have not known until she would have received a letter from Social Security years later that she owed this money. And it's something that happened while she was a child, and now they're coming to her as an adult to get money that was paid to her parents, disability payments, to take care of her. So the easiest way to find out if you owe Social Security overpayment is to log in online and check for yourself. Or you can visit your local Social Security office and check, so that you can say, hey, I'm here to make sure that everything is looking good on my account, to make sure that you guys are calculating my benefits correctly. And is there anything I need to know on my account that I don't know right now? That is a good practice. But the best way is to create an online account, because that is the easiest and fastest way to know whether you owe overpayments. So that is what I want to cover with you today in Social Security overpayments. If you have any questions at all about this, let me know. I will be doing regular live broadcasts like this to give you updates, because this is a hot button story. The Social Security, acting Social Security head was pulled in front of Congress about this issue. And here is what I want to leave you with: two things. Number one, if you get hit with a letter, in addition to doing the regular things of appealing and applying for a waiver, or if you have to even go to an administrative judge, do that. It's good to get the media on your side, or get powerful people on your side. Why do I say that? Well, the 60-minute story, 60 Minutes featured three stories, and all three people had applied for an appeal. They were denied by the Social Security Administration. They had applied for a waiver. They were denied by the Social Security Administration. And then, boom, 60 Minutes does the story, and Social Security forgives the debt. So if you can get your local media to advocate for you, it's a good thing. And then number two, get your Congress people, your congressman, your congressperson. They're a good source of pressure, so that at least they can help you get a fair hearing in front of the Social Security Administration, or they can help you at least get some response from the Social Security Administration if you've been trying and they have not been responding to you. So that's all I have for today. Until I see you in the next live video, thank you for watching.